Welcome children. So in this class of NS, I want to revise you the lessons from beginning. We have already completed 3 lessons. The names are the food we need, knowing about plants and animals and their food. Isn't it? So we are back from the first lesson. Again, we are going to revise these 3 lessons once again. Okay. So in today's class, I want to revise the first lesson, the food we need. So in this lesson, we have covered various topics like the ingredients that are required to prepare the food and how to prepare different food items and what are these ingredients and the sources of the ingredients, where they come from, and we have also studied about the preparation of the food items, how to prepare and preserve these food items for the longer period, and also what is the effect, that is where do we see the wastage of food and why we shouldn't waste the food and so on. So these are the topics that are covered in this lesson. One by one we'll revise each topic again so that it gives you clarity of the lesson and you'll be able to write the formative test very well. Okay, so this is the topic for you for your first formative assessment, the food we need. Okay, what is the name of the lesson, children? The food we need. It is a basic necessity of our life, one of the basic necessity of our life. It consists of varieties of things, that is sources that we get food from are plants, animals, and also from the sea as a source we get a food. That what is it? It is a salt. Isn't it? So salt is also used in our foods to give taste to the food, and also we get food items from either plants or animals. Okay, next, when you know that there are some food items that we get from plants, what are the food items that we get from plants and used as food? They are cereals, pulses, nuts and oil seeds, vegetables, green leafy vegetables and fruits. Green leafy vegetables and fruits. These are the materials or the food materials that we get from plant sources. Okay. Next, from animals. What are the sources of food that we get from animals? They are animal sources of food. Plant sources of food. Plant sources of food are these, and animal sources of food are egg, meat, and milk. These are animal sources of food. Still you have another source that we get from insects. They are honeybees. Give you honey. Honey, that is an animal source of food. We get from insects. That is honey from honeybees. Is it clear, children? So this is the fact that we need food to get energy. We perform various activities, that is our metabolic activities are performed only with the help of food, through which we get energy to do various activities. So this food is prepared in various ways. What are the different ways of preparation of food that we are seeing now? So there are different ways in preparation of food. They are boiling method, steaming method, frying method, deep fat fry method, and so roasting method. So you know very well methods of cooking food. Methods of cooking food. There are different methods. They are boiling method. All the vegetables, eggs, these are boiled, isn't it? Boiled and cooked. So this is about the boiling method. Vegetables, eggs or boiled, isn't it? Next, steaming method. I told you, steaming method is a method in which idlis are prepared, isn't it? Idli, before preparation, it is being steamed, that is it is fermented. Before it is steamed, it is fermented, it is. Then kudumu, that in our South Indian dish, which is being steamed and cooked. Okay, children. Next, the third one is a frying method. It involves two methods, that is deep fat fry and shallow fat fry. Deep fat fry and shallow fat fry. Fat, in fact, it is an oil that is used to cook. Okay, in frying deep fat fry items, you know very well, the food items like puri, what more, vada, you know very well, isn't it? They are being deep fat, they are fried in the manner where you use more oil in which they are deep fried. So they are deep fried items like puri, vada, what more items, that is cutlets and all. They are being deep fried and cooked. Okay, so pani puri, anything, if you take, they are being deep fried and cooked. If it is shallow fried food items like dosa, chapati, curries and all. Dosa, chapati, other curries, fries and curries. Curries and fries are being shallow fried cookery items. Okay, and next type of cooking, method of cooking is cutting and mixing. For raita, if you take raita, it is being cut and mixed. Okay, example raita. And pickles also, they are cut and mixed, isn't it? Pickles and preserved for the longer period. Next, chopping and mixing. So they are finely chopped. For this also you can make out the raita also, fine, or some of the pickles also, for finely chopped pickles also you can write for this. Pickles and raita mostly for chopping and mixing. And next, grating and mixing. For this beetroot, carrot also are being included. Beetroot, carrot are also being chopped and mixed. Next, grating, coconut, mango. These are grated and mixed in the fries or curries, isn't it? So coconut, mango, etc. These are grated. Okay. So in Telugu we say turumadam. Okay now. So these are the methods of cooking. And next, coming to the preservative part. So why do we preserve food? In order to keep the food safe for the longer period, we normally preserve the food materials after cooking or before cooking. So it is a method of preserving. In it is being used, it is cooked or preserved, or we add certain ingredients to preserve for a longer period. So the different food items are preserved in different manner. Not all the cookeries or the food items are preserved in the same manner. To keep the food safe for the longer period, we use the preservative technique. So what are the preservative methods that we use? Preservation methods of food items. What are they? What are the different preservation of the cooking method, preservation methods of food? I'll tell you. So previously we used to preserve the food when the refrigerator is not available. We used to preserve the fruits and vegetables in janata fridge, that is earthen pot, matti kunda. Okay, in them. But it is only for the short period itself that we used to preserve them. Later, the techniques were being, due to the improvisation of the science, innovations and technology, scientific technology, the refrigerators were brought into existence, and so the food items were preserved for a longer period, keeping safe in the refrigerator. Okay children, so we can say that the first one is janata fridge, that is only for the shorter period. It is for short period. We can preserve the foods only for short period. Next one is, what did I say? What is the preservation method? Next one, refrigerator. Refrigerator, it's also used to preserve the fruits, that is about for fruits and vegetables. both Janata fridge or the refrigerator, fruits, vegetables, dairy products and other foodstuffs also, but only for short period, and other foodstuffs. This is also for only a short period itself, not for the longer period. Refrigerator also, it is used to preserve the food items only for the short period. Next, coming to the next type of the preservation technique is pickle. Always, I think most of you know about this method of preservative technique, where you have seen that your mothers will be preserving the pickles for a longer period. They will be doing, they will be preserving in the month of May, when it is very summer, deep summer. They will be making of the pickles and saving it for the longer period in case of usage in the further days. Okay, so how do they pickle? For this they use oil, salt, chili powder, isn't it? These are the preservatives that are used to keep the pickles, normally mangoes, amla, tamarind, tomatoes. These are all prepared. They are into the form of the pickles and preserved for a longer period, where oil and salt is used to preserve the items like mangoes, amla, tomato, tamarind. So whatever the pickles that you know, meat also are being made in the form of the pickles and being preserved for the longer period, and vegetables like drumsticks, there is brinjal also, they are being used for the pickles also. Next, fourth one, canning process. Canning is a technique in which the fruits are being preserved. They are canned. Fruits are canned and they are transported from one place to other place and supplied to the different places through canning process, where the fruits are being preserved for the longer period. So sometimes you know that the apples are not grown in everywhere in our country. They are only grown in certain areas of our country. So to bring them from one place to other place, it takes time, and in order to preserve them, they are being canned. Okay, for the transportation purpose and so on, it takes a lot of time, and so to make them preserve for the longer period, they are being canned. So this is called as a canning technique in which the fruits are being preserved. Next, smoking process. Smoking process is mainly involved for fish in the coastal areas. Fish in the coastal areas. Coastal areas, as you know very well, that fish are being reared because of the sea coast or the river beds. You see the rearing of fish over there very much. So you see the fisherman catching the fish over there, in which they store the fish for the longer period by smoking them, by making them allowed to smoking technique, so that the moisture in the fish is being removed and kept for a longer period. So this is about the smoking process. Next, coming to the drying process. Drying process. Drying is very important technique in the preservation, where pickles are also made by drying process, and papad you are very well aware with and you like it very much, isn't it? Papad, yes. Papad, they are being dried and preserved and used for a longer period also. Next, papad is dried. Mango, that is mangoes are being grated and they are being dried to prepare amchur and so on. So you can say that for the preparation of pickles also, they use the drying technique for the mango also. Okay, so this is about that. And the chilies also are dried. Chilies also are dried and used for a longer period. Like this, you can make out the different examples where this particular technique is used to preserve the food items. So next, coming to the preservation by the sugar syrup, adding sugar syrup. Adding sugar syrup. It's a technique in which the fruits are being, that is, they are preserved in a sugar syrup to use them for a longer period, so on. So amlas and all are, they are being preserved in the sugar syrup, and sweets also. Sweets are preserved in the sugar syrup, jellies and all. These are being preserved in the sugar syrup to eat them for the more time to get that is, so that they may be preserved for a longer period without spoilage. Okay, sweets, jams, jellies and all. So these are preserved in the sugar syrups. And next, coming to the using chemical preservatives. Chemical preservatives. So citric acid, sodium metabisulfate, these are the chemical preservatives that are used in the preparation of squashes or juices. So fruit juices mainly, these chemical preservatives are used, and also in the preparation of jams and jellies also the chemicals also are being used to preserve them for a longer period. So the examples and the method of preservations we have seen now. Hope you have understood well about the method of preservation techniques of different food items. So you can also write on your own of different methods of preservation that is being made in your houses. Okay, now we'll see some of the questions regarding these in the food we need chapter. Okay children, so come on, first I note down these preservation techniques, and next I'll come to that part of the questions. When is World Food Day celebrated? World Food Day is celebrated every year in the year 16th, that is 16th October, and generally it is celebrated on 16th October, and it was launched by Food Agricultural Organization. So it is the founding date of the Food and Agricultural Organization, which was started by the United Nations in the year 1965. Okay children, so in the year in the year 1945 by United Nations. It was started in the year 1945 by United Nations, which was launched by United Nations. The Food and Agricultural Organization was launched by the United Nations in 1945. So it is the founding date of the FAO. So it is celebrated as World Food Day every year on 16th October. Okay children, so what is 16th October? It is the founding date of Food and Agricultural Organization, which was launched by United Nations in the year 1945. This World Food Day adopts a different theme every year. So its main objective or main aim is to promote awareness. It wants to promote awareness and action. Awareness and action for the food security, that is poor people, that is who suffer from the food insecurity, mainly for those who suffer from the hunger. So awareness and action for those who suffer from hunger. Awareness and action for those who suffer from hunger. Once again I repeat children, World Food Day is celebrated on 16th October. It was launched by the FAO, that is World Food and Agricultural Organization, which was launched by United Nations in 1945. So its main objective is to promote awareness and action for those who suffer from hunger, and also to promote the need to ensure every individual to promote the food security and nutritional diets for all. Okay, so for the need to secure, and it also for the need to ensure the food security. So awareness and action and need to ensure food security and nutritious diet to all. It is the main aim of the World Food Day. Okay, so this aims it has a separate, every year it has a different theme where it undergoes the awareness and action for supplying the food to all the poor people, that is for those who suffer from hunger, awareness and action for those who suffer from hunger and provide or ensure the food security and nutritious diet to all people. So it is the main objective of the World Food Day. Okay, next, what is the full form of UNDO? UNDP. See children, next abbreviation, United Nations Development Program, UNDP. What is it children? United Nations Development Program. According to United Nations Development Program, 40% of the food produced in India is being wasted. And according to FAO, as you know very well, Food and Agricultural Organization, Food and Agricultural Organization, where you know that it provides the security, that is food security for all and nutritious diet for all. According to Food Security and Nutritious Diet of report of 2018 report. So its report says that the state of food security and nutritional in the world of 1918 states that 195.9 million people in India are undernourished. They are undernourished. So this million people are undernourished, which means malnourished. They are not given proper diet, nutritious diet. It is the meaning of undernourishment. Okay, million people are undernourished. According to FAO of the year 19, so it's a 2018 report, sorry, it's a 2018 report of the State Food Security and Nutrition report states that of 2018, the year states that about 195.9 million people are undernourished in our country, that is India. So why is it so? And most of the food is being wasted. How it is being wasted? It is being wasted in the that is in daily when you are eating also you are wasting the food. During functions or in the hotels, when you go to hotels, when you take the food in the hotels, you are wasting the food. In fact, you are ordering the food that is not necessary for you to eat, and sometimes you like it, and due to the likes and dislikes also you are being taking it and wasting them all. It is not the proper way to waste the food. Our resources are very limited and we have to use our resources in a proper manner. So wasting food is wasting our own resources in itself. So we should be very careful while using our resources. So food is also a resource that we get from plants and animals. It's a natural resource too. We have to use in a very careful manner, that which brings for the future generation also. Okay, so that's the fact that we should not waste the food. And next, coming to the your lesson part, if you see children, so there are very many tables given over there. So if you take the third table of your page number 4, that is ingredients that are required for different food items. There you have potato curry. And if you take the example of potato curry, ingredients for potato curry. And simply you can easily write this as a curry. You know very well that it requires oil and seasoning items, and any curry it requires a particular item to be added to it, chopped ones or cut ones. Okay, so cut potatoes. What are the ingredients required? You can say oil for fry and seasoning items. First you will be writing over them. And turmeric, potatoes, cut potatoes or chopped potatoes, you can write over there. And then turmeric to give the color to the substance, and also it's an antibiotic that is used in the food. Next, after turmeric you can add salt to taste and chili powder also. Chili powder, garam masala, anything in this you can add to it for additional taste. So these are the ingredients that are required to prepare the potato curry. I am sure that you can write any curry if it is given in the pattern that you follow. Okay, next coconut chutney. Coconut chutney is a very simple one where you use the coconut pieces and salt, chili, green chilies and a pinch of asafoetida, and some uses the groundnuts also for it, and at last you add seasoning items and oil, isn't it? So that finishes about the coconut chutney. If it is a gulab jamun like sweet item, you prefer to add the sugar syrup along with the item that is being prepared, that is through the, it is a deep fat fried item in which you use oil, more oil, where you deep fry the balls of jamuns, isn't it? Jamuns are prepared by the maida or kova, that way makes you a delicious taste, that gives you a delicious taste. And you also have the MTR gulab jamun mix in your market, that which you get it and make into a balls by the adding the water or milk to it, and deep fat fry in oil, and then add into the sugar syrup. Your gulab jamun is ready. Next, moving to the pongal, it's a very delicious food item in which you prepare with two ingredients mainly, that is green gram and rice, isn't it? So you take these two ingredients along with the pepper and the cumin seeds and salt, with a little ghee and cashew nuts, you add the flavor and the taste to it. You will be adding these condiments too, and the dry fruits and condiments also been added to it. Okay children, so next, coming to the sources of food materials, you know very well, as I said you, that the different food items require different sources. Some are prepared from plants and some are from animals and some from the that is all the food preparations need salt, with some of them which need salt to eat, to get the taste. Okay children, and next we get the questions from this lesson as we followed common food items that you know very well, and next names of some plants that grow in your village and which parts of it are useful to as food. This is very important one children. So parts of the plant that is used as food. Parts of the plant used as food. Note down. Parts of the plant used as food. In the next column, names of the plant that grow in your village. Names of the plants that grow in your village where you use that part of the plant. Okay, first you note down the parts of the plant as you know very well that you eat. Seed, yes, you eat it. After seed it comes to root, yes, you eat the root of the plant also. Third, next comes stem. Yes, you take some of the stems also in our food. Next, leaves. The stem you get the leaves, isn't it? Leaves or leafy vegetables you are taking in your food. Next, leaves. After leaves, you take the fruit of the plant. Yes, you are taking the fruit of the plant also in your food. So, seed, root, stem, leaves, and also flowers. Flowers are also included in our food. So what are the different parts of the plant that are used, that are grown in your, that are used in our food material and grown in our village? Name the plants that are grown in our village, that you eat that particular part. If it is so, you have to write sunflower seeds you use, groundnut seeds you use, isn't it? So you can make cereals which you use, you can write under that, cereals and pulses also you can write under this column. Sunflower seeds, groundnut seeds, and any cereal, rice or wheat. If rice is grown, you can write rice also as a seed. Pulse, red gram, green gram, black gram, Bengal gram. In this, any of the pulse, if it is grown in your village, you can write that particular grams also, groundnuts, anything. You can write under the column of seeds over there. Next, root. Coming to the root, you normally eat beetroot, carrot, colocasia, isn't it? The turnip. So these are the roots of the plants which we use in our food. But in our village, that is we are South Indians, where we belong to Nellore, isn't it now? Here we do not grow carrot and beetroot, but we import them from other states. So here we grow colocasia. So the question is name of the plant that grow in your village. If the question is not only the name of the plant that we use as food, then you can write beetroot, carrot and colocasia, everything. You can write. Here you write only colocasia because it is only grown in your village. Okay, hope you have understood this part. Why did we write only colocasia but not beetroot and carrot? You can write that also if you are in states like Ooty, in the village of Ooty or Kodaikanal, in certain areas where you find the roots like carrot, beetroot and all, you can write them also. Okay, and the stems. Stem, if you continue, amaranth, even it is a stem that is leafy vegetable. Stems are also being used for eating. Amaranth, ginger, stem is used. Turmeric, its stem is used in our food. Garlic, its stem is used in our food. Onions. So this is the stem part that we use. Potato also. Stem part is used in our food. But this potato is not grown in Nellore, so you are avoiding to write potato even if they are grown. Okay, onion is also not grown, so it is being avoided. Like this, what are the items that are grown in our village that we will be writing in this column. Next, coming to the leaves. Leaves mostly you get that is ponnaganni, mint, ponnaganni. In so many leaves you can easily write amaranth. Next, coriander and so on. All the leafy vegetables which are grown you can write. And the fruits, that is the fruit part of the plant. Each and every vegetable, that is a general vegetable that you use in the food, it belongs to the fruit of the plant in itself. So brinjal, tomato, mango, or the fruit of the plants that we use. The fruits and vegetables can be written in this part, like tomatoes, brinjals, bottle gourd, bitter gourd, all gourds belonging to gourd family. Bottle gourd, bitter gourd, everything that is grown in your village, you can write. All the vegetables you can write over this area. And green leafy vegetables, it comes under the fruit, that is so here you know very well the green leafy vegetables that you use in our village, and fruits also completed. Now about the flowers. The different flowers that we use in our food are cauliflower, that is broccoli and plantain, isn't it? So apart in our village we grow plantain. Cauliflower is not grown in our village, so you are not going to write the cauliflower because it is grown in other states, not in our state. So we import them to our state. So here the question is about the parts of the plant that is eaten, which is grown in your village. They ask the question. So you have to write only plantain as it is grown in our village. So this is about the parts of the plant that we eat, that are used in our food and that are grown in our village. And the next question, we'll move to the preservation part, where it is asked in a different manner. See children, here the name of the food item is given and the methods of preparation, that is preservation, you have to write. See here, name of the food item. Name of the food item, you are given as fish, raw mango and lemon. This is another type of question in which the preservation, methods of preservation will be asked of different food items. See here. So you have to write the methods of preservation. So how to write write the answer for this question. You know very well that fish is being preserved by drying or smoking. So you will be writing this. Under this you will be writing food is preserved by drying process and also smoking process, I told you. Isn't it? Next, coming to the raw mango. Raw mango is preserved by adding salt and turmeric, or it is preserved by pickling process or drying process. Amchur is prepared, isn't it? It is by drying process. So one is adding salt and turmeric. Adding salt and turmeric. Second one is pickling. And the third one is drying. So these are the three methods of preservation of the raw mango. Next, coming to the lemon. How is lemon preserved? Lemon is preserved by pickling process. It is also preserved by adding sugar syrup. Write down. By adding salt and turmeric also lemon is being preserved. By adding salt and turmeric, one of the method of preservation. Next, it is also preserved by pickling process as in case of raw mango. And it is also preserved by adding sugar syrup. Adding sugar syrup. Lemon is preserved by adding sugar syrup and by adding chemical preservatives like the potassium metabisulfite. Here it is only the citric acid, so need not add any other preservatives. By adding sugar syrup also it can be preserved for the longer period. So this is the different ways in which the questions may be asked for you in the examination in this lesson of the food we need. Another question I am asking now. How is the food spoiled? How is the food spoiled? Why is the food spoiled and how is the food spoiled? What happens if you eat the spoiled food? So if the preservation is not proper, then the food is spoiled. So what is the question? How does the food get spoiled? If it is a question that is asked, how do you write the answer for this question? The food gets spoiled by the action of microorganisms. That is, if it is not preserved properly. If the food is not preserved properly, the food is not preserved properly due to the action of microorganisms. The microorganisms act over it, and due to the action of microorganisms, that is germs, the food get spoiled. Okay, so if it is not preserved, the food gets spoiled. The spoiled food is poisonous. It makes the food poisonous. Spoiled food makes food poisonous. If you eat this type of poisoned food, then what happens? Poisoned food attacks, that is affects our health. Poisoned food affects our health. That means it leads to ill health. So what are the causes of, what are the health problems that we suffer if we take poisoned food? We may suffer from diarrhea or vomitings, or even at times it leads to death also. So we suffer from diarrhea, vomitings, or even death. It leads to death. So this is the cause of eating spoiled food, or how we can say that the food is spoiled. So it is not eatable. So how does it get spoiled? Due to the action of germs. So why the germs attack them? Because of improper preservation, or if the food is kept for a longer period without preserving properly, it gets spoiled. So if you waste the food like this, if it is wasted, the poison food is thrown everywhere, then what happens? The atmosphere gets polluted. So it leads to the environmental pollution also. For spoiled food leads to environmental pollution also. Leads to environmental pollution. So we should not waste food. So what are the slogans? Where do you waste the food? So generally you will be seeing that you yourself you will be throwing the food around the plate while you eat the food. That is also wrong. You should not throw the food like that. You should be very careful while eating the food, and also you will be avoiding certain types of food due to your likes and dislikes. So it should not be there. Whatever you you have to eat it completely. So eating completely means that you are not wasting the food. Food wastage is the resource wastage. If you waste the food, you are wasting your resource yourself. That is enough is enough. You have to say if you are satisfied with the food that you eat, you should say enough there itself. So you should say enough. So you'll be wasting the food in your function halls and hotels where you go. You'll be seeing the wastage of food everywhere. So you should think that it is your responsibility not to waste the food. It is your resource that you are wasting. If you are wasting this resource, it will be disadvantage for yourself in the coming future. Okay, so write down certain slogans avoiding the wastage of food. This is also an important question. Slogans related to avoid wastage of food. To avoid wastage of food. What are the slogans? The first one is eat to live and not live to eat. You are very well aware of this slogan, isn't it? Eat to live, not live to eat. Eat to live and not live to eat. Okay, and next, today's wastage of food is tomorrow's shortage of food. Today's wastage of food is tomorrow's shortage of food. And next, the other one, don't waste food. Food is precious. Don't waste food. Don't waste food. Food is precious. And you can say enough is enough. Is a very well known statement that to avoid the wastage of food. Okay, so here in this lesson, hope you have understood the lesson completely, and if you have any doubts, you can call me to my personal number and clarify your doubts. So for the coming formative assessment, you have the questions from this lesson, the food we need. And so once again, you revise this topic well, read the lesson, see all the videos of this lesson, and try to confirm your answers whether you are correct or not, and then proceed while writing. Okay, all the best children, stay safe, be safe at home, learn well, and write the exam for the coming formative assessment well. Okay children, bye. Thank you.